Hello, Interweb.
Hi,
Boyd and
Matt.
I've decided to start doing these again. Now that I found somebody that actually wants to do it with me. So today is just a normal movie review. We're about to watch Predators,
Yep.
which I've seen. I saw it in theaters and a couple of times on video.
I have not
You've not seen it, right?
It somehow made its way into my DVD collection, but I haven't watched it yet. In fact, when we decided to do this, watch it for tonight, I had forgotten that I had it.
It's 7 o'clock.
Apparently, it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that's Mr. Computer. He likes to remind us of that.
Cool. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the first one.
Oh yeah.
The second one was a movie.
I actually saw the second one first.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the second one a lot, actually.
I saw the first one when I was a kid. I loved the crap out of that movie, as any 12-year-old would. The second one, man, I guess it just didn't have the same fun to me. But I won't say it's a bad movie.
I like the second one because it kind of builds the lore up. I think that's what I like about it.
I did like that about it.
I mean, it doesn't have Schwarzenegger, so that's always going to be a detriment.
It doesn't have quite the I guess the whole cast of over-the-top characters that the first one had.
It did have Jake Busey, not Jake Busey, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, he was in there
before he went full on crazy.
I maintain that there is no before. He was either we didn't see it or he was just good at hiding it, but there was no before. He went crazy. But I did like that about the second movie. I've also seen the AVP movies.
I actually really like those. People give them a lot of hell.
The first one was watchable. I think there have been claims that it's an abomination to film in the Aliens and Predator franchise. I didn't see that. It wasn't my favorite thing that I've ever seen. I actually am kind of an outlier in that I liked Requiem.
I did too.
AVP Requiem was fun.
I didn't like it as much as the first AVP.
Yeah.
But I'm always, as I'm sure I've said in previous videos, I love giant monster movies.
Yeah.
And the versus tag of giant monster movies is kind of a staple. So Aliens versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason, those are I'll eat those up.
I think what the AVP movies, both of them, what they should have done was gone the Freddy versus Jason route and just cranked the ridiculousness. Because versus in your title implies ridiculousness. They should have cranked it to 11.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, the sled ride of friendship at the end of the first AVP, that was the kind of ridiculous that we needed more of.
I don't understand why that's considered ridiculous, though. I mean, I think it made sense within the...
It did. It was just, I guess, if you just kind of look at it at face value, she's riding on this sledish thing with a predator who's not currently ripping her skull out.
Well, the first one, and I won't go into this too much, but there is a comic book Alien vs. Predator, and I'm pretty sure it's the very first story arc they did, is where they drew a lot of that first movie from.
Okay.
And I guess that's kind of where I could see where what they were trying to do, and that's why I don't find that one as ridiculous as other stuff. The second one's got some definitely major ridiculous moments, but I love the fact in the second one that they just kill that love interest like that. You don't see it coming, and then before you know it, she's just impaled to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was quite an entertaining. I will definitely give it that. But from what I understand, Predators is kind of the sequel that the first one probably should have had. Is how I've heard it described, going from Alien to Aliens, Predator to Predators.
I mean, I've heard it said that Robert Rodriguez, the director, said, Predators 2 didn't take place in my universe, and there's nothing in the movie that I remember that distinctly contradicts Predator 2.
Okay.
And one, I don't see any reason why Predator 2 doesn't have to take place.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the first one, while at the same time very different.
Okay.
And I really shouldn't say much more. And I think that's probably a good segue for us to stop here.
Sure.
And watch the movie. And we'll be back in a few.
We'll be back. And I will no longer be wearing this jacket. It is a bit warm.
What's the last thing you remembered?
All of a sudden, there was a light, and then I was falling.
Who are you?
I was supposed to be executed 2 days ago.
And I was in combat. So was I.
Black Ops. Who would do this to us?
We were chosen.
Chosen for what?
We're all brought here for the same purpose. We're being hunted.
What?
This planet is a game preserve. We're the game. How do we kill them? However you can.
All right, so we just finished Predators, starring Adrian Brody's very large, distracting nostrils, and some other people.
Oh man, that I think is this like the only time Adrian Brody has been an action star?
It's the only time I've seen him do his Riddick Vin Diesel impression.
I mean, I thought he was great. I mean, I remember when the movie was coming out, they were like Adrian Brody. I was like, okay, Adrian Brody. I mean,
Yeah.
Donald Glover was in the second movie, so I mean, he doesn't have to be an action star to be in the movie. And you're like, but he's gonna be an act. He's ripped and he's muscular. I was like, Adrian Brody, the pianist.
Danny Glover.
What did I say?
Donald. Very different guy.
Oh, that's true. Donald's.
I want to see Donald Glover in a Predator movie as Troy Barnes, because that would be amazing.
Well, this one had Topher Grace in it.
Yes, I was not.
And he's not. I
I was
don't
not
remember him
expecting
ever
that.
being in the trailers or previews. That he
I
was in
don't.
this
Yeah, I don't
movie.
remember him being in the trailers either.
In fact, most of the previews and trailers showed Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
So I was really expecting him to be the main character. I remember the trailer. They showed him taking off the Predator mask. And like, oh, okay, well he's gonna be this main badass.
Yeah. He's gonna be our Arnold.
He wasn't.
But no, he was in the movie for 5 minutes. Did roughly nothing.
I mean, his character was cool.
Yeah, he was a really cool character. I kind of wanted to see him at least put up a fight with one of them, considering he'd been doing it for.
Spoilers, by the way.
Well, yeah, of course. This is all spoilers. But yeah, I expected him to put up some kind of fight at least, because he'd been there for. I don't know what the planet seasons are.
He says 10 seasons,
Yeah.
and if we're to assume a season is a year,
Yeah.
About 10 years.
Or even if we transfer that to our kind of timeline where 4 seasons is a year, that's still like 2.5 years.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But again, he's on a moon? I guess we never discussed. They never discussed whether it was a planet or a moon or.
They don't say, and I don't
Yeah.
guess it really matters. It's just it's not Earth.
What made me think it was a moon was its proximity to the gas giant.
Yeah. I'm not an astrologer.
Yeah.
I still consider Pluto a planet, so.
But it was a very Jupiter-looking gas giant that you see in the "you're totally not on Earth" shot.
Yeah.
where the camera is behind them, and there's just all this space and planets here and there. That's what made me think Moon. Because a moon.
Yeah.
Because if they were on a planet and those other planetary bodies were that close, that wouldn't work.
It's also a movie.
That's true. That's true.
So like, I love the cast of characters.
Yes.
In the movie.
Yeah. Let
like-
me look up that guy's name that we were trying to think of.
Oh, yeah.
Convict. I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
him
there's
up.
the guy who, he's in a lot of stuff. He's in everything, but I can never remember his name.
He is amazing at playing just an awful human being, and I wouldn't have him any other way, with the exception of that episode of Community he was on.
But like the movie starts off right, like all these characters are falling from the sky and they got parachutes on.
Mm-hmm. It was a pretty cool sequence too.
Pretty cool thing. I mean, it hits the gate with the action running, and you got Adrian Brody. You've got the girl who I don't know her name either actually.
I'm gonna look up a cast list.
They're the two main ones, yeah. Danny Trejo, the black dude. What nationality did you say he was?
Adrian Brody said he was from Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone, yeah. You got the convict.
Mm-hmm.
You got Topher Grace, who he's got the.
I didn't buy his character turn for a minute. I actually kind of expected, like when we already put the spoiler warning up. So when he turns at the end and paralyzes what's her face, I kind of expected the white goo from one of the alien androids to trail down his head.
Well, the very first time I ever saw this in the theaters, I was like, why is this guy here? Oh, and he says he's a doctor.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's a medic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. They've got like, they set up this paradigm, kind
Yeah.
of like what you would see in a video game or something.
Yeah.
And he's the medic. And then it was about the point where they're in the ship, where Lawrence Fishburne's ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to think about it more, and I was like, well, if he was a medic, why doesn't he have like his bag of medicine?
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't he have his bag of tools?
Yeah.
And I was
And
like, oh,
why would they grab just like a doctor, not like maybe a combat medic or something like that?
I mean,
And so
medic, that's what I was thinking.
and he introduced himself as a doctor, but then he started knowing crazy things about plants.
Yeah,
and
and
other things. So it's like,
toxins
what
and
kind of doctor are you?
Yeah, they don't really go into like.
But that
Much
actually
of
is a
it.
question still unanswered. Is
Well, was he even a doctor?
well,
Well, he has a scalpel. He has a scalpel.
Yeah, I guess maybe he's a doctor that was also a
A serial,
sociopathic serial killer.
Yeah. I mean, and that was pretty much like where I was thinking, like, okay, well, they're all killers.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. It was really the point when I was like, you don't have your tools.
Yeah.
Everyone else was dropped with their
With their
weapons.
stuff, and he was not.
And he was not. That was like, oh, wait a second. But you didn't. It wasn't a surprise for you. You didn't see that.
Well, I didn't see it coming, but mostly because looking back, I see where they tried to layer in bits to set up the reveal. When he looked back at the Russian guy and gave him that kind of cold look and then left, and when he held up the picture of the Russian guy's kids saying, "I've got kids,"
Yeah.
I thought that was though him just being a friggin' coward.
Yeah,
because that's
me
what
too.
he was the entire movie.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know that I believed it. That he was a serial killer at the end.
Up until the point where I kind of started to question it the first time I watched it, I believed it.
Okay.
So, did you get the dude's name?
Oh yes, it's Walton Goggins.
Right. Oh,
I
Walton
love
Goggins.
his
Yes,
stuff.
of course.
And Alice Braga is Isabel.
Isabel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you don't know any of their names, really.
No.
Like
They apparently have them though.
they have them, yeah. But I mean, and that's actually part of the thing I really dig about the movie is like it's not Isabel or what was everybody's name? Roscoe.
It's 9 o'clock.
And it's 9 o'clock.
Cool. It was Isabella and Royce are the two main folks.
But
Alice Braga and
it doesn't matter. They're the soldiers.
Yeah.
It's the Yakuza.
They
Russian.
are their archetype.
Right. Yeah. And Danny Trejo is Danny Trejo.
Yep. Danny Trejo dies. Danny Trejo is in a Robert Rodriguez movie and dies. Surprising.
Yeah, he does do that a lot, doesn't he?
I think Machete might be the only Robert Rodriguez movies that he's appeared in and has not died. I haven't
Spy
seen.
Kids, I think.
Was he in those?
He's like their butler. I've never seen him, but I know there's.
Oh, okay.
I know there's
I've never seen them either.
But you know what? Oh, you know what his name is in those?
Oh,
He's
no.
Uncle Machete. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I might have to watch one of those things now. But no, yeah, Danny Trejo's great, and when he died, and then the African guy died, I was like, well, at least they didn't kill the black guy first.
Yeah.
They saved him for second.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I'll go ahead and say it though. I loved the movie.
yeah. So in the hierarchy of Predators, not counting the AVP ones.
Not counting the AVP ones. It's obviously the first one I would put first.
Oh, yeah.
I need to watch the second one again before I make this final.
Mm-hmm.
Before I would like write it down and laminate it. But I would put this one above 2. Although after we talked before watching the movie, I was actually thinking about the world building that 2 did. And I was like, they did do a lot of stuff in there, so I actually need to watch that again. But I would put Predators as second, and then Predator 2 as third.
Okay.
Close third.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I started remembering stuff when I was while we were watching it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably say the same.
Yeah. It felt the score of this movie. It was pretty much the score of the first one, and that helped a lot. The score and the location, the jungle-based location,
a
helped
lot
out
of
a
parallels.
lot. Yeah.
It's kind of like Force Awakens versus old New Hope.
Yeah.
In the way that they kind of parallel, and it had been 20 years or something since
it'd
the
been
very
a long
first
time.
movie. So I mean it makes sense and it works. I think. What anything you didn't like about the movie?
I don't know. Nothing that was really a deal breaker for me. That's the thing with Robert Rodriguez movies. Even the ones he doesn't actually direct, like this one. There's some nitpicky stuff that I can pluck at, but none of them really. None of the little nitpicky details that are flaws that I noticed really ruin the movie for me. So I don't think there's anything all that ruinous to me, other than I guess me not buying Topher Grace that turn, and Lawrence Fishburne not being around for very long.
Yeah, the Lawrence Fishburne thing. I blame that on the trailer. Like, if I hadn't seen the trailer and I just watched this, although I did think he was a little too chubby to be on that planet for 10 years and as a scavenger.
My biggest problem was the fact that he didn't go down swinging.
Well, he wasn't a good guy. I mean, he was actually one of the kind of, other than the Predators, he was a antagonist for the characters to come across. My biggest complaint though is the fact that they give Walter Goggins' character. Well, Walter Goggins' character is a complete scumbag.
Yes,
he's a death row inmate that they've taken. At one point, he's talking about how if he gets home, he's going to rape so many bitches.
Yeah.
But then they give him the heroic death.
Yeah. They get
and I just realized this. A lot of the characters do get the heroic death. The Yakuza, the Russian, the Danny Trejo doesn't, and the Sierra Leone militia was a militia or, not important. I just don't want to keep referring to him as the black guy.
Okay, I actually his name is where is he? The character is Mombasa.
Mombasa. He doesn't necessarily get the heroic death.
And Hanzo is the Yakuza guy.
Hanzo, yeah. Hanzo, man, he's so badass.
Right. That is actually one problem I've had with the first movie. Is there's all this build up with the Native American guy. He's like
such a great
flexing,
scene,
taking off his shirt, and then he takes his knife and cuts across his chest.
So badass.
And then we don't see anything. We just hear like a screeching scream of death.
You see him get like.
Well, you see him get killed.
Yeah.
But we don't see a fight.
Well, there's no fight. You see.
Right. With Hanzo, there was a fight.
There was a fight.
Awesome.
There was a fight. I mean, I'll argue that in the first movie that was kind of the point.
Yeah.
Like, was to show the futility, like just how powerful this thing is.
But watching that scene though, and getting
Hanzo
to
has
the
a
end
sword
of it,
fight, and that's.
Yeah, and getting to the end of that fight, it's like, or not the non-fight in the first movie. It's like, well, that was a long walk for nothing. but the sword fight, guy going up against a predator with a katana might be one of the coolest things I've seen in a movie like this, because that was fantastic.
It was, yeah.
I guess one of my nitpicks, if I must pick a nit, was that scene with Danny Trejo when he's totally not screaming "help me" because he's dead already.
Right. Yeah.
The minute they saw him in that clearing, they knew it was a trap. I also went, "Hey, that's a trap." But my first thought was, "Hey, you have a scope. Look down your scope to see if he's breathing, because you can see someone breathing."
That's a total nitpick.
That's I had to hunt for a nit, man.
I took the good ones.
But and again, not even a deal breaker. That was just a thing that I kind of wish they would have thought of. But again, it doesn't hurt the movie.
No, I don't think so. I don't think at all. I don't think the movie did very well though.
No, I don't think it did very well either. I guess because of it was lower on the radar as far as the movies went. I'm trying to remember when it came out.
Well,
I don't think it was a January release, but it might have been released in it was either released like among a deluge of big movies, or it was released in a dead time where nobody cared. So let's see, what month did you come out, movie? 2010.
This came out in 2010.
Yep. July. Oh, so yeah, right in the middle of the summer movie season.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it didn't do all that well.
Yeah. No sequel, unfortunately.
No.
So something we didn't touch upon is they kind of introduced a new hierarchy to the Predators.
Yeah, the factions.
Like that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
in the movie they
Cool.
refer to it as like being there's two sets of Predators,
Mm-hmm.
and they're different like dogs and wolves.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the credits, they refer to them as Berserker Predators.
Okay.
They had very different, excellent design. I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure it like added anything to the mythos though.
Well,
Obviously it adds to it.
Well,
but
yeah, of course, it adds the idea that
I'm not sure exactly how well it was received.
that
by
there
fans.
is that there is sort of strata. But again, that was in 2010. Predator was 87. She said
like
87.
in the movie she says 87. That's probably what it was.
But so I mean, the Predator mythos has been built up through comics and and stuff like that.
But I don't really buy any of the Predator comics. Like I kind of flip through them and read them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen them ever like bring in the Berserkers in any of the comics. I'm not sure they're even really doing Predator comics right now.
Watching this movie though made me ask the question: why don't we have more Predator movies? I mean, as far as
I don't know,
it ticks so many boxes of what makes a blockbuster movie. You'd think it's got brand recognition already.
Yeah.
It's got beefy action people.
We've had 5.
Yeah.
If you count the aliens.
If you count
Predators.
the AVPs.
We've had 5.
Yeah.
You had the first one, you had the second one,
mm-hmm.
and then nothing. So I'm guessing I guess the second one didn't do very well or something.
Yeah, it's not. The second one's not well regarded now. I was not really aware of. I don't even remember when the second one came out. I was not really into movies at the time, so I have no idea how it did. But because I think I was like 8, something like that. I don't know.
Well, I think I knew about the Predator.
Yeah.
My first real introduction to it was actually the Batman versus the Predator comic book.
I was actually started thinking about adding more versus titles to another. So after Alien versus Predators, we get Alien versus Predator versus Terminator, and then Batman versus Predator versus Alien versus Terminator.
I have the Aliens versus Predator versus Terminator comic book.
That exists. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's an actual thing. Yeah, it was 4 issues.
Oh my god!
It takes place immediately after Alien Resurrection.
That's
so it has
great.
It has the Sigourney Weaver Ripley alien hybrid in it. And it's actually pretty. It's actually like it's
man.
not. It's not very good. Don't get me wrong. It's not very good. But
it has two verses.
It has two verses. Yes. But the premise is actually pretty interesting. It's
oh man.
Skynet. Okay, apparently so in the universe of Aliens and Predators, the future universe where you have Ripley.
Yeah.
Back on Earth, the Skynet war happened.
Okay. Yeah.
And John Connor wins.
Yeah.
And Skynet sends out sleeper agents.
Okay.
Who go through time to find a way to rebuild Skynet eventually, and it comes to the point of the future where they're all out in space, and they come and they find the xenomorphs, the aliens.
Oh my god!
And they use they basically make xenomorph Terminators. But they're still humanoid looking.
That's fantastic.
But they're like blue and veiny, like the xenomorphs are. Meanwhile, Ripley gets kidnapped by the Predators and inducted into their society. So she leads a war of Predators against the Xenonators. And meanwhile, there are actual aliens also, and they're like mixed in as well.
Why isn't that a movie?
Because it's bad.
But it would be amazing. That would be. I don't normally get into so bad it's good stuff, but that sounds so bad that it would be awesome. Oh man.
Yeah.
And I want to drive up to a theater and see that in the marquee, a title with verses in it twice.
You know, the one that they almost made that wound up being made into a comic was Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from Evil Dead.
That would be cool.
That was very close to getting made, and it actually did become a comic book.
Okay.
There was two of them.
And I flipped through Batman vs. Predator once. That was pretty cool.
Batman vs. Predator. There's three of those. The first two are actually really good. The second one I liked because the Predator in that one, it was like a rogue one.
Okay.
That went after, and then like other Predators show up to try and stop it. And the third one, I don't remember it being very good, but it was like Batman, and it's Batman and Robin. It was like a father and son Predator going after him.
Oh goodness!
The only part of that comic that really stuck out that was kind of cool was Mr. Freeze is in it, and the Predators can't see him because he's.
That would be amazing. See, this is why you should hate like rights disputes and licensing, because these movies won't happen because different people own the rights. Oh man. But Predators, I quite enjoyed it. That was a good flick. Made me miss the first one. Even though I own it and can go watch it anytime, it was very nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
Because of those references and whatnot that they threw in.
There's a couple of lines in the first Predator that you could get away with it in the 80s. Nowadays, you would not be able to. Should I say it? Say the line?
Sure.
There's a line. Jesse Ventura's in the movie.
Yep.
And like it's in like the first 2 minutes, I think he calls like another guy. He calls all his friends like a bunch of slack-jawed faggots.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I remember when I watched it back in the 90s. I mean, that just shows you like time changes and stuff. And I was like, that's really cool.
Wait, didn't the convict call one of the Predators something to that effect?
Yeah, I think he did actually.
I could
during the heroic death,
that. Yeah.
Like he jumps on the Predator's back and starts stabbing him with a shiv.
The Predator's expert training doesn't cover shivs, apparently.
Well, he thought the guy was dead. I mean, I'll give him that. But yeah, I think he called him faggot like 3 or 4 times as he's stabbing him.
Yeah. I forgot about that line from the first one.
Oh yeah,
it's been a little while since.
The last time I watched it, I remember he says that line. I'm like, oh, they would not say that today.
No, not a chance.
Nor should they.
Exactly. Because it wasn't exactly a great line in the first one.
It definitely gives you a sense of the character that he plays. And it's really, if you know much about like military mentality and stuff, it's
I see that.
But
yeah, but I was actually kind of expecting a lot more like line drops, like recognizable line drops, like. Instead of get to the chopper, like get to the ship or something.
Oh,
I was expecting some stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad they didn't do that because they let the movie be its own movie while also having parallels, and I like that they did that. Some of the exposition, I guess, if I'll pick at another nit, some of the exposition was kind of annoying. Like she stops and tells the story of the first movie, which I guess was kind of necessary for the characters to know that.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, why did it bother you though?
I don't know.
It didn't really bother me.
Exposition dumps don't usually bother me. Typically because there's usually... Now, this is a different case, but typically exposition dump bothers me because there's usually a better way to go about it that isn't just a character stopping the story to fill the audience in.
Yeah, I can see your point there.
Yeah.
I just remember when I saw this in the theater with the guy I was with, when she started telling the story, we were both like...
Yeah.
Well,
I mean...
They're referencing the first movie!
Yeah. And again, I liked it. It was a good scene. But I guess that's not really the exposition dump that really got me going, what? It was when he started talking about it being a game preserve.
Well, Lawrence Fishburne?
No, Adrian Brody. He started talking about it being in a game preserve. I'm like, how did you get there? It was after they were attacked by the dog.
Yeah.
And now I saw the thing. I guess the points that would lead to that conclusion of game preserve. But I don't know. I just didn't see.
I think
For some odd reason, it just wasn't. It wasn't clicking. At least I didn't feel it clicking in the movie.
I disagree. I think it worked fine. That didn't bother me at all. But picking up the notes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're being hunted. I got that.
Yeah.
Or rather, I got how he got that.
Mm-hmm.
But he went from we're being hunted to this planet is a game preserve. I don't know.
Dogs. I mean, he references like the alien dogs. He references how on Earth you would use those to flesh out quail or boar. I mean, you can do that on a game preserve.
Yeah, and again, I saw all the things in the movie that would lead to the conclusion of game preserve. But I just, for some odd reason, it
didn't gel well. It didn't flow.
Yeah, I didn't see how he made.
Okay.
I didn't see how he got there.
Yeah.
I guess as far as like exposition goes, him saying we're being hunted because sending in the dogs to flush out the quail is a hunting move, and then when they get to Lawrence Fishburne, he also says it's game preserve, so they could have revealed that there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's exposition's tricky to do.
Yeah. And I know you're just nitpicking, but I think that's just one of those like. Roll it,
Yeah. Oh, I did. Yeah. I still enjoyed the crap out of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Violence and gore and people getting killed.
Actually, that and us talking earlier makes me want to go watch the Alien vs. Predator movies again.
I kind of do as well. I actually do have Requiem at home.
Yeah, I got both here.
But I guess one thing that I thought was really great. I don't really think anybody. I think maybe only Topher Grace was the only person that was not killed by a predator. Because you see this happen from time to time, like in the first Resident Evil movie, which I know isn't a bastion of good filmmaking, but like four out of I think a team of like 8 people in the first Resident Evil movie. 4 of them are killed by the lasers, not even by zombies.
Oh yeah, that's right. That stupid laser hallway.
Yeah, the laser hallway of death.
God, I hate that movie.
And when you have like a monster movie and a team of people, you need that team of people. At least the majority of them need to be killed by the monsters. Not half of them killed at the beginning by lasers. That was on my mind. Jim Sterling has started a podcast where they talk about video game movies, and they were talking about that. And so that's what, and when we were watching Predators, I was thinking about, hey, these people all are getting killed by the Predators. Good on you, filmmakers. Having your monsters do the work. I appreciate that.
The Resident Evil movies.
Oh my god.
That's actually one of the few film franchises where the movies keep getting worse,
but they still get made.
But I enjoy each one more and more.
Yeah.
Like
I stopped after the third one.
The third one's probably my least favorite.
The second one built up built up the idea of her having powers. And I was like, oh, cool, she's going to have superpowers. What are they going to do with that? And then I watched the third one. Oh, absolutely nothing.
Well, I think it's the fourth one. Like, she still kind of has the powers.
Yeah.
And then in the fourth one, like, at the very beginning, she's injected with something that takes them away. And then at the end of the fifth one, she's giving them back.
Okay.
Like, it is just...
Filmmaking?
It is so freaking insane the way those... Like, the first movie, if it didn't have the name Resident Evil on it, it'd be a decent...
half-decent zombie.
Disney movie. But then at that point, after that, it's just like, let's cram as much stuff from the games in there as well. And like I would say the first three still feel like coherent movie, like movies. But then it's 4 and 5. It's like
brand maintenance.
Yeah, like.
Oh,
it's fine. It happens. But it's so much fun. They're so goofy and stupid, and half the characters are like just chewing the scenery. And
but I guess to bring it back to Predators.
Here we have.
One thing I noted, like right before noting that the Predators were doing all the killing, was how competent our characters were in this movie. Like, nobody got killed by the traps.
Well,
nobody got killed by the dogs.
No,
and in a lesser.
But here's hold on.
Sure.
If it wasn't for Adrian Brody and the girl whose name I've already forgotten again,
Isabella,
would that have still happened?
Actually, well, the traps, yes, because they didn't spot them either. I forgot his name already. The guy from Sierra Leone tripped over a thing.
It was
not Mufasa. Definitely was not Mufasa.
Mufasa, wasn't it?
Something like that. Anyway, he tripped over a thing, and that's what started. That's what got the traps.
Yeah.
And everybody, and in a lesser monster movie, 2 people would have been killed there.
Well, now hold on. Now was it? It was. You said no one died during the dog attack, but that was when Danny Trejo got taken.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you don't actually see it happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that did happen.
But I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure he was grabbed by one of the predators.
Oh yeah.
So not killed by the dog.
Well, killed by the dog, but as a product of the dog attack. I think it still counts. But Adrian Brody was the one that noticed that it was a trap.
Yeah.
That Danny Trejo was a trap.
Yeah. But I did appreciate how competent our soldiers were because they're.
Most of them.
Because in a lot of horror-based movies where you have soldiers, they'll do stupid crap so that they can get killed off.
Yeah,
it's for the movie, and I appreciate that they were actually capable people in this. Who, you believe that they're soldiers because they're not going to fall for a dumb thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And when the shit hits the fan, they're going to react quickly like they've been trained to.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely right.
So I really like that. Keep kicking it.
Oh, it's... other folks that have done this with me, they kick it too.
So so it's a thing?
It's kind of become a thing, yeah. It's been a while since we've done one of these. It's been probably over a year, at least. So I'm excited to start doing them again.
Yeah.
Just off the cuff.
I would like to make it a weekly thing, but I'm not going to promise that because of the way my work's going.
That's fine.
But yes, Predators. If you've not seen it, do so. It's good.
I would definitely, yeah. If you like the other movies, or if you just like action movies, this is worth a watch. Yeah. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, this is good action and no huge action stars in this. We actually were talking about this earlier.
Yeah,
Adrian Brody as an action hero is not a thing you would have thought.
But you know what?
But he did a good job.
He did a good job, and he got ripped for the role too.
Mm-hmm.
This not the pianist.
And started he got ripped and started gargling gravel to make his voice do that.
Well, I think you were saying earlier that this movie came out around the same time as The Expendables.
They were close at the very least, and that would explain why none of the big name action folks were available for Predators. So they got character actors, which I love character actors.
Okay, all right. That's something I never understood. Like, people will refer to someone as a character actor.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is the difference between actor and character? Aren't all actors playing characters?
But character actors are people who get kind of subsumed into their role. Where you're not like, oh, that's Arnold playing a guy named John.
Oh, so like where Tom Hanks always plays Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Arnold always plays Arnold. Christopher Walken always plays Christopher Walken.
Oh, okay.
So character actor, those are the people, like your movie stars are generally your actors like that, and your background folks who just totally fold into the role, and you see them play a bunch of different stuff. They are generally referred to as character actors.
So, I can't think of his name. The guy from There Will Be Blood.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. He would be a character actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, that's not character actor is a thing that doesn't have exactly a cut and dry definition, but that's how I look at it.
I've always heard that phrase used,
Yeah.
and I've never understood what it exactly
means. They're the folks that always get kind of absorbed into a role. You never watch the movie and go, oh, that's Walton Goggins. It's that's the convict bastard guy who's awful, the worst human being on the planet, who's not on the planet anymore.
He gets the heroic death. That's still killer. That's really like the only part of the movie. I'm just like,
I guess you could look at it as instead of it being heroism, you could look at it as being spite. Because he jumps on the guy and he starts stabbing.
He does, but then he yells for the others to run.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
so
He can do
But
that.
then the Predator rips his spine out. Then
that was satisfying because I hated that guy. I don't normally advocate the ripping out of the spine and skull, but with that character, I was okay with it.
Now one thing about that scene.
Oh man.
And I'm not sure. Like, I'm not usually one to like hark on physics or anything, and this I'm not either. Yeah. It's just a curiosity because when he reaches down, he pulls like at the base of the spine and just rips out the whole spinal cord and skull. Huh?
It looked pretty easy.
Looked pretty easy, and I'm not saying that it would be easy for this real muscular alien to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, the spine would come out, but then I would think like just the whole head would come with it, and it was the skull. It wasn't. There was no skin or flesh.
Yeah.
It was a bloody skull. It's kind of like when you see somebody get like drawn and quartered, like all four limbs just equally get split off, and that wouldn't happen. There'd be at least one that still has like the torso attached to it.
The face is attached to the skull by way of tendons and ligaments and whatnot.
So I would think there would be more face left on it.
Face, some hair.
But again, cool scene.
It was a cool. It was a
give
very
a shit.
Cool scene.
It's just kind of more of a. Like, I wonder how that would actually go down.
Yeah. I would imagine there might be a rating thing involved there as well, because blood and gore is fine, but I imagine if you put some face with it, that would nudge you closer to like an NC-17 rating.
Oh yeah.
MPAA gets a little picky with how they do stuff. I don't know. I don't know if Robert Rodriguez or the director had planned to leave some face on there, but I don't know.
Well, speaking of like the special effects, I thought they were pretty awesome.
Yeah, the effects were great.
Only a few times I could actually tell CG, like near the end, like the Berserker Predator.
Yeah.
Like his face was CG, or
his face was CG.
Which I didn't quite understand why.
Yeah, I don't know. Because he had a bigger face.
I guess. Like the normal Predator was.
The normal Predator, that was a prosthetic, and it looked great.
I
don't know why he had CG face. It was decent CG face, and they did it. When we saw his face, it was at night, obscured by fire, so you couldn't. So there was a couple layers of visual effect, keeping us from seeing the full on CG.
The dogs were all CG.
Yeah,
not bad though.
No,
not bad.
I would say they used their CG wisely. They used it to enhance instead of
that's the way
just
it
take
should
over.
be done.
That's the way it should be done. Because again, a lesser filmmaker would have basically done most of the locations as CG backgrounds, and it just wouldn't have felt real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in lots of movies when they do that, it's usually not the filmmaker, it's just the studio being stupid, not giving them enough money or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or George Lucas not knowing what sets are. Not knowing what locations are.
I don't have enough time to rant about that.
Wow, well, I guess we should cut it off here then.
I think it's a good stop point. Yeah.
Any last thoughts on Predators?
I think everything I wanted to say I've said.
Yeah.
I think it's a great addition to the franchise.
Makes me want more Predator movies.
Yeah.
And Alien vs. Predator vs. Terminator vs. Batman.
That would be awesome.
That'd be a great movie.
That would be.
With Batfleck. I walked up to another can of worms there, didn't I?
You know, the new trailer for
Oh man,
Batman versus not Superman came out a couple of days ago.
yeah.
Nothing in that trailer makes me want to see this movie any more than I already don't. Nothing in it made me think that, okay, what they've done to Superman is okay.
Yeah.
But I will say the Batfleck doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
It looks like that's going to be
Okay.
that's going to be the best part of the movie. I'm not a gigantic fan of the costume.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what they're doing. They're trying to harken back to
the Frank Miller.
The Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns.
The Fat Man.
The what?
The Fat Man.
Batman.
I always referred to Frank Miller's Batman as Fat Man.
Yeah, I mean,
he looked like a brick shit.
Yes. Well, I mean that's just his style.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it. Like,
Yeah.
we can do a rant video.
No, everything
about
I've
that
seen
later.
about that particular movie makes me think it's going to be the most glorious of train wrecks. And
I mean, it's not going to be Fan-4-Stick train wreck.
No.
This is the movie.
Train 4-Stick was an interesting train, or it wasn't an interesting train wreck.
It's
This I see exploding in glorious fashion.
no.
I will watch from a distance as it erupts.
It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah,
It's going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't. It's gonna be a different piece of shit than Man of Steel was.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be Transformers 2.
I can see that.
It
just won't have the box office numbers of Transformers 2.
No, it's going to probably exceed it. Everyone is going to go fucking see this movie. Everyone, it's going to make a buttload of money, so they're going to keep making it. But the critics and the real fans are going to destroy it. They're going to hate it. And they're going to criticize it online. And but there's going to be the guy. They're like, I want to see him fight. And you know the people that actually enjoy the Transformers franchise.
I was one of the people in the theater on Transformers 2's opening night.
I saw it like the
contributed
first
to that.
week.
I was there opening night because the first one
I
remembered being decent, and I was like, maybe they
The first
can
one was
improve it.
okay. Well, I mean, I've seen all 4 Transformers in the theaters, so I'm part of the problem. I know, but it's the exact same thing. I saw it with Man of Steel. Everyone, I've never seen anyone that thinks that Man of Steel is just lukewarm. They either
love it or hate it.
They either say love it or they absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
And just like Transformers, I see these parallels between these, what's happening. But it's going to make a ton of money. It's going to make a buttload of money, and they're going to keep doing it, making these movies. Because of that.
I guess we can only hope that the titles get ever more ridiculous. Because we had Man of Steel, now we have Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I mean,
which is
why can't you just call it?
Why not Dawn of Justice if they're trying to kick off the?
I'm surprised Batman and Superman are actually in the title because Warner Brothers has a problem putting the names of their characters in the title. Yeah. I mean, you had Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel. Yeah. You got a show called Arrow. It's Green Arrow. Just call it Green Arrow. And I don't watch the show because I refuse to. But as I understand it, like they don't even call him Green. They call him like 3 different names in the show. Yeah. He's the Hood, or he's the Arrow, or whatever. I'm surprised Flash is called Flash and not just Blur or Crimson Scarlet or something. Scarlet Speedster, I think is what they called him in the comics a few times. But like they actually call him the show is actually called Flash. That surprises me.
I don't know. We don't know what WB's doing because WB doesn't know what WB's doing.
They got all these franchises and. So you got like Arrow and Flash on CW. You got Supergirl on CBS. Yeah. You had the short-lived Constantine was on Fox.
Is that already over?
Oh, it was one season.
Oh, okay.
They did bring the character back in
up
Arrow. They brought I think they wrapped up in Arrow or something.
Oh, okay.
And they are doing the Flash Supergirl crossover, which surprises me. But I was just like, why are you spreading it out?
I stopped watching at Arrow season 2. I never finished season 2 of Arrow
when Arrow
because I started watching Daredevil and loved it.
Oh, and then Marvel's just blowing it out of the water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what WB should probably do is get Bruce Timm and whoever his cohort is, who have been rocking
Tim
the
Sale.
DC animated universe. If they must have a DC live action universe, get those guys to write for it because clearly they know what they're doing.
I think I want to say either Paul Dini or Bruce Timm. They did an episode of Smallville.
Oh, really?
Which I never watched any of that. I did watch that one episode. It was when the Legion of Superheroes showed up, and that one was actually pretty good.
I've never been a huge Superman fan, so
See,
nor have I been a fan of high school dramas. So
I think-
Superman high school drama was not didn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I think that's why Man of Shit hurts so much for
Yeah.
me. Is I'm a huge Superman fan. Like,
Okay.
like, regardless of anybody in the world, you're either a Superman guy or you are a Batman guy, and I am very much a Superman guy.
Okay.
Even if you don't like those, you are one of those two.
Okay.
But I haven't seen a good Warner Brothers anything since Batman Begins. Like I didn't even like The Dark Knight.
I won't get into that because I love the Dark Knight.
I will fight you right here. Oh, this is the only time he's going to be on
right.
That might be actually a fun video to do. Just like we watch The Dark Knight, and then we just beat the shit out of each other on camera.
We'll be standing back there just punching at each other or playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
I wouldn't mind actually like rewatching the Nolan trilogy because I liked Batman. It's been a while since I've seen any of them. I like Batman Begins. I did not like Dark Knight. And Rises for me, I feel like it was tainted by Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if my feelings on it are.
I don't know. I guess we'd get to that when and if we watch those. But
We might have to like marathon that. And
that'd be cool.
Do some videos. That would be fun. I think.
That'd be fun.
And
I wouldn't be able to do all of them in a day. Those movies are long. Those movies are long as hell.
One of my complaints about them actually.
Yeah.
They're too long. First one's an okay.
Yeah.
Length.
It was like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was normal movie length.
But anyway, so Predators was a good movie.
Yeah. Bye.